You.
Well, my goodness, that's what the life of a YouTube creator, designer, coach does, I guess, is stay inside, or has the weather just been so bad?
Honestly, I usually take my walk in the morning times, but what I've been doing is I have a walking pad. So I've just been using my walking pads to walk in the morning. It's winter here, so it's cold, and I don't like the cold particularly. So
Well, we
hopefully,
are live. Tell everybody where you are, what part of the world.
I am in Philadelphia.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see here. I'm just going to go live, make sure everything is good to go, and then we'll get right into it. And I have to just tell you right now, it's hilarious because I have definitely had resistance, and that's kind of what I wanted to speak upon today because a lot of people I know and work with, and myself included, and people I know that you work with, we have this, sometimes, and a lot for me actually, because I'm comfortable with video, but setting myself aside, there's just this resistance to, oh my gosh, I don't want to go live again. Nobody's watching. And I just say the same thing. And I don't know, nobody really cares. And I'm trying to do it, but it's not very slick. And, all the excuses, or I'll just do it tomorrow, or I didn't wash my hair, or, I've heard it all. And I'm just not comfortable. My big one, because I'm really comfortable with video, but my big one is I just can't do videos and point to the air. I mean, I just can't do that. And so I really wanted to bring you on, and the people who are listening, thank you anyway for taking the time and being here with us today. I'm going to introduce my friend here in just 1 second. After I say, if you don't know me, I'm Janice. Thank you for watching. Please share with people that are looking for solutions to the stress, the daily stress we all face. I help people with nutritional support, just addressing deficiencies. And one of the biggest deficiencies that I deal with in my realm, my sphere, people that seem to want to talk to me are people that they've maybe had a traumatic experience or a health issue, or they've had, mine was a lot of skin issue and hair issues. So those can create confidence issues and all of these things around video. And so I love to bring to my group of people in my group here on Facebook, and also my YouTube people following, and anybody that is interested. We're going to put all of everybody's info in the comments after so that you can reconnect. But we just want to take a few minutes and appreciate your time. And I want to introduce you someone I've been following for a while. I've done her program. She's like really got it going on. And she'll explain a little bit more why she has it going on, because she has experience, and I'm sure she's had those days that she felt like, you know what, and still did it. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, Katara, with you, is how have you seen, and I have really also jumped into this world of AI enhancement, and it is so fun. I'm really getting to know my AI twin and beyond. And I love how you are incorporating always the latest and greatest, and then you take so much time with relevant content. And from what I've learned in all my experience, right now it's about being authentic and offering valuable content, and that you do. So I want you to come and share with everybody, one, a little bit about you personally, why you do this and what you do, what you offer, and why you feel that utilizing these tools that we've, got here, uh, can reduce stress in your life.
Oh, yeah, of course. My name is Catara Lane. I am a YouTube strategist and a video editor. So I help people build personal brands on YouTube so they can make more sales. So what were a few of your questions again?
A little bit about you, like why do you do that?
Oh,
Why do you
okay.
do this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I started doing this sort of like video editing and stuff in film school. So I went to film school. But when I was in film school, they were talking a lot about like going to LA because it's film school, I guess. If the major was film and media arts, they were talking about going to LA and there's all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't particularly want to do that. So I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, really. Um, And I also had the pleasure of living with my grandma when I was in college. And she had a routine, as grandmas do. And one of the things that she did was she would watch the news every single morning. And so it would be on when I left the house. And then when she came back home, she'd be watching it again. So when I came back in the house, the news was still on. And I live in the city of Philadelphia. So it's a very urban area, big city. So a lot of the news was actually very negative. So it's like, somebody got shot here, something happened here, the 30 seconds of positivity on the screen and then the weather. And I just hated that so much because what I knew of the city that I grew up in, was that there was actually a lot more positivity going on. And I always wondered like why none of that was being shown. So while I was in college, I would go around and I was freelancing with nonprofits, which if you guys don't know, a lot of nonprofits do a lot of great work. So I worked at a nonprofit. I got to be in the sphere and connect with a lot of other nonprofits. I also got to freelance with a lot of different business owners in the city. I'm like, why is the news not talking about this? So I would start to create like short documentaries. So I created like two short I created a few, but two of them got into a film festival, and that was where my love of storytelling kind of like was birthed. And then when I graduated, I was still working at my nonprofit, which was working with kids, but I actually quit that job. And I was like, I'm going to do video full time. Originally, I was like, I'm only going to work with nonprofits because these guys are doing great work. But I was like, okay. More recently, I'm like, okay, I need to help the business owners too because they have a story to tell. So I started to tell people stories and then get those positive stories out there and teach people how to do that.
On your YouTube channel?
Um, Even way before I had a YouTube channel. So,
Where were you telling it?
yeah, so like just helping business owners to get their story heard on social media. And
Oh.
YouTube is just like a part of that. And YouTube is just sort of like where I niche down to. But
Wow.
yeah.
I didn't, that is a beautiful story. And I'm much more inspired because, we all have a story. And right now, especially if I've done the Tony Robbins and the Dean Graziosi and all the schools out there that people are saying, find your voice, your story, and tell it, and that you can make a very good living at doing that. And so you're able to assist this new wave of people that have come online and that are trying to build podcasts and and I just saw, in fact, speaking of podcasts, that Kelsey, Kylie Kelsey, the wife of Jason Kelsey's podcast, her first one, beat out Joe Rogan. It went number one
Wow.
yesterday. I know. And I'm thinking, I don't even know that person. I mean, yes, she's big, but she's got a name. And of course, I understand that. But I just think that I've heard, especially for me in the network marketing space or people that are, branching out more in coaching, it's like the wide open west there on YouTube. So why did you niche down to YouTube?
So I niched down on YouTube because there was a point in my business where I was doing like a lot of weddings. So, like, remember we started so we could help people tell their stories on social media. Well, somehow I just started getting all this wedding work because, I did have the background to help in video. So, at one point, I was just like, whatever, I'll just take this so I can get out the house and go do some exercise. And, as well as that, I can go meet new people. Well, that kind of became a big chunk of my income, and it got to a point where I really did not like it. So I'm like, okay. And then I was also networking at the time, but networking wasn't yielding me the results that I wanted. It wasn't getting me in front of the people that I wanted to become clients, and it was just working so slow. So I was like, I need something that's one to many, where I can talk to more than one person at a time. And basically people will be attracted to me through my message. So I first actually started with a podcast. But then
On
I
YouTube?
realized no, it was actually on Spotify. But
Oh,
yeah, I realized I was like, there's not. very many tutorial. I can't do tutorial based content on here, and I'm a video person. I should be on YouTube. So I saw this webinar that a coach was doing at the time, and I hopped on that webinar, and she had a business coaching and YouTube coaching program. I took that program. Basically, it was in YouTube University for a year, and through that, I learned video YouTube strategy specifically, which was kind of like the missing link in my business. And then I also learned how to get on YouTube and tell my story. And from that, I saw how powerful it was for my business growth, how leads were coming to me from YouTube. And all I was doing was posting one video a week mainly. So that's why I my specialty now is YouTube. So I'm like, okay, if I could help just like a few business owners get on YouTube and they could, also bring in their leads, they can have more impact as well.
So here's what I wanted to know, because I feel this way. I'm always like wanting to buck the system. Like I know I see the trends ahead of that, and then I can be a part of it, and then I want to get out in front of it. And I feel like what I'm seeing more and more of, and also I've heard you talk a little bit about it, is this, and I can see from talking to you right now that this the move away from the slick over edited, and I did see that you were giving away a free edit thing. That's fantastic in your group. What a great promo. But the slick editing days are kind of gone, and it's moved more into real and raw, authentic, in the moment. Because I think what happened is when we had to get so slick, a lot of people backed away because they didn't know how to do that, right? Right? Is that, am I correct at all, or what do you think?
Yeah, so if you're on YouTube, if you have grandchildren, or if you frequent the platform, you might have heard of this creator, Mr. Beast. And Mr.
Mystery
Beast
what?
grew Mr. Beast. He's an entertainment channel. He grew like a very large channel. He does like a lot of different challenges. And when YouTube creators or, when people who they just want to start creating content or whatever the case may be, when they start to get on the platform, all they know of, because usually, when you're before you had a business or before you got on YouTube for your business, you were watching other creators, probably for your hobbies. And they're probably those creators are on there for AdSense, and they're on the platform for a different reason other than business owners. They're on there to entertain, So of course, Mr. Beast is gonna have all these flying effects and stuff. But if you're just on there to educate your audience doesn't necessarily care about that. Like mine, they don't care. They're like, I just came here for information and then I came to dip. So, you don't need to have all those, flashy effects anymore to say. You just need to get on there and tell your story because people are tired of all the stuff going everywhere. Yeah.
Well, what brings you joy then now today after all these wonderful experiences, and you've niched down, and it seems like you've found a great deal of people on YouTube and also Facebook groups. What brings you the most joy today with working with your clients, and the least amount of stress?
Uh, what brings me joy working with my clients is seeing them actually like progress and getting them on YouTube, seeing them start to post that like, consistent content, and starting to tell their story.
And you've really helped me with that because I've been very consistent, but I haven't been lately. I don't know. There's been this energy the last week or two that has just slowed me down. And I think as I look back on the growth, because it's continuous. It doesn't, it's not like you wake up one day and woo, I did it. My YouTube is done. It's never, that just doesn't happen. And so I've noticed that in all of my growth, there's like these cycles, and I'm trying to get back. We got the fresh energy of the new year and coming out with new ideas and all of that. So I'm excited. I'm starting to, and then of course the end of the year messages. There's all these opportunities. But what would you? And we'll definitely put your YouTube information in the comments, and I encourage you to subscribe. You do so much wonderful content, and you're very creative with your thumbnails, and you've really taught people why those are important. So I think, is there any particular, besides your giveaway for the group, any particular thing you're doing right now to close out the year?
Well, right now, what I'm doing is I'm really, refining my offers. So, talking to specific people. I'm working with my business coach right now, as well as reflecting back on this previous year. What went right? What went wrong? What could I do more of? Because this year I was just like, I was testing everything, to be honest. Throwing spaghetti at the wall, to say, and it was really fun, but I'm really trying to like hone in even more. And yeah, also I'm gearing up for my 20 days of YouTube challenge where I'll be like essentially talking about new topics to my audience that I haven't talked about before. So I've been talking a lot about YouTube. In the new year, I'll be talking more about like lead generation strategies and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
I'm very interested in all of that. And so I definitely want you to put them in the comments as well. The 20 days, are you challenging everybody to do something for 20 days? Is that part of it?
Yeah, so basically in my Facebook group, I'm having a 20-day challenge starting in January. I let them know like super early so they can start scripting and stuff. So by the time January come, everybody can start the new year off with 20 videos on YouTube or, however many that they were able to get up on there. So, you can do YouTube shorts, you can do a YouTube live, you could do a long YouTube, you could do a community post, which is just a post, like a Facebook post. It doesn't matter. I just want to get people on the platform.
Wow, I didn't know you could do a community post on YouTube.
Yeah.
See, you learn something new every time, and I've been working with her, and I too feel like I've been throwing a lot of things at the wall and seeing what's sticking. And it seems to be the theme for 2025 is to simplify and to optimize. And I'm really looking at how, what's working, what's not, cutting away what's not. It's the same thing that I do in my nutritional rebalancing, really, is a reset and looking at what's working, what's serving me, and what's not, and constantly striving to do better. It's the same in the business. And I did hear you say you're a coach. And so, my thought to anybody listening would be make sure you have a mentor or a coach, multiple coaches in different things if you need them. There's AI coaches and YouTube coaches and life coaches. And I mean, it's amazing, but it's wonderful too, because it's giving people an opportunity to work from wherever they are. I'm in Maui, you're in Philly. I mean, like, right? Wow, that's amazing, and it helps me feel more connected, and gives me the opportunity to meet new people. So, my YouTube is The Art of Living Joyfully. What is your YouTube name?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel name is the same name that you see here. So it's Catara Lane, Catara Lane, Lane.
Perfect. That makes it easy. So she'll put it in the comments too after we go back and round it up. But thank you for taking the time today. And if there was one last thing that you wanted to say about um, what has niching down to YouTube and the tools that you've been learning, because I see you're playing around with AI a little bit too. What about it has, because a lot of people are afraid of AI, or they're afraid of YouTube, or they already think that all of their information is everywhere, and it's very challenging sometimes. I'm finding it a little bit harder this last year than it was in previous years to get on, and because I often feel like I'm saying the same message over and over in different ways, like different packages, but it's the same message.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to in 2025 more engagement, more back and forth. I don't seem to have problem with content. I'm definitely going to take the 20-day challenge. That sounds really fun. And I learned something about a static post. That's amazing. I hope you guys will check out the YouTube. We love YouTube because YouTube owns Google, correct?
Google owns YouTube.
Google owns, in other words, they're connected. They're like
Yeah.
one. And Google pretty much, like we Google so much. And so to be found and to optimize your results, YouTube is a fantastic place. So when you subscribe to our channels and engage, it helps us to grow. We appreciate that as business. I never say small business owners because then I think, oh, we're so small, but as entrepreneurial business owners.
Yeah.
So is there one last thing you can share with anybody about the AI experience with the YouTube having coaches and just all the things that you're doing to help, eliminate the grind of it all. And any tip on what you do when you really don't feel like showing up, but you do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, with AI and putting yourself out there, I mean, if your complaint is that your information is already out there, then what do you have to lose? That's what I think about. It's like everybody has our information. They're doing everything with it anyway. So what are you gonna do about that? There are two different people on, the social media platforms. There's two types of people. There are consumers and there are producers. So would you rather be the one that's just watching people, go and follow their dreams, or would you rather be the person that's being watched and actually going after their dreams? So you can pick and choose which one that you're able to do in AI. It just kind of sort of like speeds up that process. So with ChatGPT, for example, it just helps you. So you don't have to, and don't copy what exactly ChatGPT says, make it your own, because people can tell it's a robot. Even though it's getting smarter, still make it your own. It's still you. It's just these tools are here to help us do it faster. Like I remember like when AI first started coming out and all the video editors were scared. They were like, they're gonna take our jobs. I'm like, they're not gonna take our jobs. Certain AI tools, they cannot take your job. They're just here to aid us. They're not here to take your jobs. They're here to help us do things faster. For example, my mom was creating an ebook because she does travel agent things. So she was creating a travel agent ebook on like how to go to like certain states in the United States. And she was just doing it manually in Canva by hand. And when she was doing it, it was so slow. I mean, she was asking for help, but it just made me realize, how fast I'm able to get things done. So like she spent like days on that, but what's taking her days to do, um, only takes me 30 minutes with the use of AI. So definitely don't be afraid of it and just test it out.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with everything that you just said. And that's why I like you and I appreciate you. And then I wanted to bring you and introduce you more to more people in my audience and in my group, because a lot of people in my group are entrepreneurial people that have side gigs, or they're very passionate about what they do, and they want to do it the best they can. So if you guys are wanting to venture out onto YouTube, now I chose on purpose to do my podcast on YouTube, and your podcast is on YouTube. And was there a specific, I mean, other than you felt about the Spotify, you just feel like YouTube is the place to have your podcast, right?
Yeah, and then with podcasts, specifically on the podcast platforms like Spotify, Podbean, wherever you want to place it at, all of the promoting is up to you. So, like, you have to promote the podcast by sharing it with your audience on social media, emailing your list. It's a very manual process, but what I love about YouTube is YouTube promotes your video or your podcast for a full 8 days. So if you don't want to, there's no additional promoting required. I mean, I share my YouTube videos every week in my newsletter just to like get it pushed to even more people who might want to see it and keep people updated. But you don't have to. Like, you could just post the content on there and it will promote itself. Spotify is not doing that. It's not much like organic traffic that you get from Spotify's platform. It's not like a lot of discoverability on their platforms. That's the word I'm looking for. But on YouTube, anybody can discover your videos.
Especially if you're looking for the consumer, if you're a producer looking for the consumer. And I loved the way you said that. And I'm a producer too. I love that and have been even before YouTube. I think teachers are naturally drawn to that, and I'm a bit of a teacher, as you are clearly. So I just appreciate your time this morning, and I hope that people will reach out to you. You have so much to offer, and your channel's awesome. So go follow her. And on the thumbnail, you do some really fun ones. She has some videos there you can actually search and see what she has on thumbnails and take one of her classes. So Catara, thank you so much for spending this time with you and with me and everybody. And be sure and go back later and comment, put your info there so they can connect with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one, hon. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, bye bye.